Welcome to TrainFuture, where ambition meets expertise. At TrainFuture, we believe in the transformative power of mentorship and training. In this podcast series, I interview leaders and experts from various fields. Welcome to TrainFuture. So today's conversation will be focused on how private equity investors are finding and creating value in software and tech-enabled services heading into 2026. And I've got a great guest to walk us through it. Adam Brown, a military veteran, a software engineer, and a serial entrepreneur. Adam, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So before we jump in, just give people a quick sense of who you are and what you focus on right now.
Yeah, again, so my name is Adam Brown. I'm a military veteran, software engineer by trade, but my real passion lies in entrepreneurship. I started a few companies myself, and I just like really helping the younger generation understand how the world works and prepare them for what the future lies ahead.
I think you built amazing hands-on experience with software companies, which puts you in a unique position to assess how AI is reshaping the landscape for tech investments. And the biggest buzzword right now is AI, as it's fundamentally reshaping how tech products are built, priced, and defended. Even John Zito said in an investor gathering that the biggest risk to private capital markets isn't tariffs or inflation, it's whether the software itself is dead. So Adam, in your view, how do you tell if AI is a threat to their pricing or a real advantage that strengthens the company?
Well, so the first thing I tend to ask myself is AI actually replacing the product or embedding itself into the workflow? I feel that if AI automates the core value proposition, like if you're creating blogs or basic analytics, that kind of compresses pricing. So at that point, you're selling the output that others can easily replicate. Um, Within my particular industry, it's actually a question I was responding to not too long ago on Twitter. They were like, if you're building software and you see that someone else is doing the same thing, what do you do? A lot of them were like, oh yeah, we'll stop. But I think the point of the matter is, if it's software that you're building and you're confident in the product that you're building, it doesn't matter who's trying to replicate it. You will more than likely have a very unique angle on it. So I think that as we see, AI expand within the industries, there will be a lot of cheaper options to use that offer the same product. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just more people getting their hands into, really building. And I think that AI commoditizes surface level features only. It strengthens businesses that have own structured data and mission critical workflows.
Okay, so that makes a little sense. But once you decided that it's actually adding real value, the next thing is whether the revenue behind it is actually durable, right? So what metrics do you use to test the revenue quality?
So for software as a service, I think we can look at net revenue retention, expansion versus contraction dynamics, sales efficiency, customer acquisition cost payback, not just growth, product usage depth. But what I care about most, I think, is behavioral integration. The question I like to ask is, does the product sit inside a daily workflow? And for business to business services, I try to separate recurring revenue with repeatable revenue. They pretty much define themselves. Recurring revenue is contractual, whereas repeatable revenue, the customer just comes back but could easily choose someone else. Repeatable revenue still depends on relationship and reselling, but recurring revenue is embedded in the client system. So I think it's important to really have a happy medium, a happy mix of both of them, both repeating and recurring revenue, in order to have a durable, really durable and high quality revenue.
The metrics show if revenue is solid, but even with strong numbers, can the business keep performing without the founder doing everything? PE firms are seeing this more as they buy smaller founder-run companies, and if revenue depends too much on one person, how do you check if it can grow without them running the daily operations? And what changes actually lower that risk?
Yeah, the founder operator situation happens all the time. It's even happened with me in some of the companies I started. But the main thing I look for is performance measured objectively.
Yep.
That is, to me, that's the number one thing. Are decisions documented? Does the team know what good looks like, even without the founder being present? Typically, what I see is that founder-heavy businesses usually lack structured KPIs or SOP clarity. So I've seen this a lot in smaller operational environments where execution quality really depends on personality rather than a system. So no system, you'll typically see, very founder, I call them founder operators. They're everything. They're a sales team, they're the marketing team, they do it all. So I feel like the best way to really evaluate them beyond the founder is to make sure they have dashboards installed before delegation, define escalation rules, and just try to do everything you can to move the founder from operator to just decision arbiter.
Once the founder steps back, can the business scale without margins getting affected? I mean, that's huge in services where adding headcount can kill profits fast, right? So how do you check labor risks like wages, hiring, execution, and what changes can protect this margin as that grows?
Yeah, no, I don't really think there's been much change, but to me,
Mhm.
quality now means essentially clean data,
Yep.
measurable retention, operational transparency, and margin durability under stress. It's less about growth rate and more about predictability. That's the important part when it
Yep.
comes to defining an opportunity that's an A-tier opportunity.
Yep.
To win those deals, you just have to show founders you understand operations, not just
Mhm.
capital structure. Operator-led capital wins when founders believe you'll improve execution. It's as simple as that.
But the real question for sponsors actually is what happens post close? How do you create value in the portfolio? I mean, AI is becoming the biggest lever available, right? So this ties straight to value creation tools. And AI matters not for just due diligence, but as a operational boost for inside portfolio companies. Now, where does it actually help with operations and productivity? And how do you tell if a team is truly using AI or just talking it up?
I want to go to the second half of the question is how you spot teams using them nowadays.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's an unfortunate double standard when it comes to using AI.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to frown on it being used, but they're using it to spot when it's being used. So I personally don't try to focus on whether or not AI is being used. I just want to make sure that whatever they're trying to deliver to me is being delivered, and they understand why they're delivering it to me. So that's just the answer to the second part of the question. And in the first part of the question, from my experience in real businesses, AI shows up in forecasting improvements, pricing optimization, support automation, performance variance detection, executive reporting. The difference between firms using AI and firms just talking about it is mostly structured data. Just like I said, like if it's organic to to your organization, it doesn't matter like how it's delivered via AI or not. If you know your stuff, it's going to be
Yeah.
obvious.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time and your answers are really insightful. Um, I hope you have a great day.
Absolutely my pleasure. Anytime.